Hey everyone, TimaeuSS here, and welcome to another Wuthering Waves video. So Prywin.gg has just released another blog post going over some of the findings and the build updates, along with buffs, nerfs, and reworks for characters and echoes. Now, I'll leave a link down below so you can go through the article yourself, because in this video, our focus is going to be on Calcharo. Okay, he is one of the quote-unquote nerfed characters, and we'll go over the rise, and I will not say necessarily the fall of Calcharo, because I think this change will actually buff, that's right, this change will actually buff Yinlin when she is released. Okay, so yes, let's go over it, and it's story time because we can go all the way from the beginning. Now, to understand what has changed, okay, for Calcharo himself, this is in comparison to the media server, which was post CBT2 but prior to the game's full release. Okay, so at the release, this was the Calcharo we got. The Death Messenger Resonance Energy Regen went from 12.5 in the media server down to 5. You can see that in the tooltip they've got it wrong still, and it says Death Messenger Concerto Energy Regen, but it's supposed to be Resonance Energy Regen. So the tooltip is still wrong. And then what is the Heavy Attack Death Messenger? It basically activates after you use your Resonance Liberation Deathblade gear state, and then your Forte gauge gains or turns into the Killing Intent, stacking up to 5. And when you consume it, you can use the Heavy Attack Death Messenger, and it counts as liberation damage and also recovers resonance energy. So the energy gain for that is now reduced, which I don't think it's the end of the world, but of course it definitely hurts him. Okay, and another key part is that this was a hidden, quote-unquote hidden nerf that not everyone knew about it, and it's in regards to Yinlin, because in the previous guides, Yinlin of course paired up with Calcharo was definitely a tier 0 core. Those dual core compositions was absolutely the strongest, and one of the reasons why they work so well together is because of Yinlin's outro skill. It says electro damage increased by 20% and resonance liberation damage is also increased by 25%. Now remember in the previous part where we talked about the heavy attack, yes, and this one, the damage coming out from this also considered as resonance liberation damage. So you have Yinlin buffing that along with the electro type, which is both Yinlin and Calcharo's typing. So this is really good and lasts for 14 seconds, so pretty decent for the burst window of Calcharo's rotation. And this is what essentially led to this world first, okay, this world first dual highest level dual unit clear with just Yinlin and Calcharo. This was a display of pure skill, and it was absolutely insane. He was the guide maker for one of the groups that cleared, I think for CPT3, the one of the groups that basically cleared the tower with full stars, the only one to really do it during the CBT. So he showcased a Yinlin plus Calcharo combination, and it was so damn strong. It was absolutely broken. Didn't need a third slot in the team because these two will just deal with everything. So with that said, when Calcharo was released, instantly you rated Calcharo at tier 0 with Yinlin as the sub DPS in the team, because their build and their playstyle is essentially quick swap, and you will often see both of them basically on the field at the same time. Okay, so in this team composition, you'll often see both of them attacking the same time because the intro, the outro, and you swap really fast in between the characters before they both expires. Now, the part where I say that essentially the nerf came out was all of the characters that have damage buffing capabilities in their outro skill has now been added with this additional line, which is or the character exits. So prior to this, when you've had the for example Calcharo Yinlin combination, if you use Calcharo to attack and you switch to Yinlin and you switch back to Calcharo, you get that buff, okay, but now because this is changed to when the character exits, you no longer get that 14-second buff, because as soon as you swap to Calcharo from Yinlin to Calcharo, you lose that outro skill buff. So it's very unfortunate, but you know what, understandable. Outro skill having that buff duration lasts for the entirety of 14 seconds, even if you switch character, it was a bit too strong. Okay, it was a bit too strong. So basically this outro nerf, and then we now know the resonance energy gen nerf combined together has I would not say dampened Calcharo, but definitely made him not the tier 0 tier 0 monstrosity he was before. But personally, looking through some of the CN guides as well as the CN tier list, he is still at the very top in terms of the damage dealer. Now, I am currently cooking both the Jianxing and the Calcharo guys, so it'll take some time. All right, it'll take some time, so give a subscribe to my channel and leave a comment down below to support the channel if you want to see either of these two or which one you prefer. But for example, Calcharo right now still has a very strong presence in the end game meta, just because of how fluid his gameplay is, and his damage output is very strong. Because remember, you still need 3 teams. You still need 3 teams in end game tower to complete everything. So we see here there's a showcase of Calcharo in conjunction with Jianxing, for example, and Verna for this insane level 90 tower clear. So yes, in my honest opinion, I think those 2 nerfs, you have to understand where it's coming from. The outro was a blanket outro buff duration nerf to everyone, so it's not just Calcharo that you know, got it from Yinlin's nerf, but also everyone else as well. And then on top of that, the other nerf, which is the resonance energy gains, unfortunate. But you know what, I think as many CM players also puts it, Calcharo is still a super strong DPS, especially one with a very high skill ceiling, and once you can master his style of quick swapping back and forth, you will do really well with him. Because if you take a look right now, prior to Yinlin's release, they're essentially building this Calcharo Sanghua team, which is very similar, okay, plus the Baizi, somewhat of a free-to-play, but very similar to the quick swap technique we used to do, for example, with Encore, where we do a lot of swapping between the characters and utilizing the Sanghua burst window, doing Calcharo's swaps to really maximize that damage. So yes, this will be part of the guide that I'll put out for Calcharo later on, showcasing some of the combination. But with all that said, I really think that Yinlin as a result will get buffed. I honestly think that because of all these changes to Calcharo and him being slightly weaker than his tier 0 form in the closed beta, I think now to compensate for that, Yinlin post-release will be really buffed and potentially pushing Calcharo into a maybe even a sub DPS role on the team, so to have Yinlin stand out a bit more. But I still like the previous playstyle where it's Calcharo main and Yinlin will definitely come in, do the insane AoE attack and all the flashy burst window stuff, but just that of course the the outro part is not gonna benefit for the full 14 seconds. So let me know your thoughts. It's TimaeuSS here, and yes, the guides are coming up. The guides are coming up for Jianxing and for Calcharo. Let me know if you're interested. And yes, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye now.